This is EJL Instructs, episode number 1, Debugging Android WebView with Chrome. I'm Elon Lipton. Let's jump right in. Here's the Android application that I've written. It uses a WebView control to render some HTML. I've built this application using .NET MAUI and Blazor, but the same exact technique and guidance applies no matter what technology you use to build it, as long as it's running in the Android emulator. Now we can see here some of the styles are not quite right. This heading is not supposed to be black, this button doesn't look right, and this error down here is not supposed to be shown unless there's an error. The best way to inspect this is using the Chrome developer tools. Open Chrome, navigate to Chrome://inspect, and down here at the bottom you should see all the emulators that you have running with all the various web views that they have. Here we see I've got my Blazor Android application. I can click Inspect, and here we have the Chrome DevTools. These are the exact same DevTools that you would see if you use Chrome and press the F12 key on your keyboard and inspect the HTML and CSS of any website that you're visiting. Here we have a duplicate of the web view with exactly the same styles and markup and any errors that it may or may not have. For example, I can inspect this element and I see, there aren't really any particular styles being applied to this heading. These are just the built-in styles of the web view. Let's navigate to the Network tab. And there are no requests here, but if I press Ctrl-R, I can refresh the content of the web view, and now I can get a really big hint as to why my styles aren't working. We see here in red, styles.css isn't even loading. That sounds like a problem. Let's investigate. Go back to Visual Studio. Here's the HTML that I was serving up, and immediately I see something wrong here. I was trying to load css/styles.css, but in fact the file here is css/app.css. Let's go ahead and fix that. In fact, we see autocomplete is telling me that what I was doing was wrong. And let's run the application again and see it updated in the emulator. Now the emulator is loading my updated and hopefully fixed application. And while that's happening, we can see here that the Chrome DevTools are grayed out. So I'll close that and we'll open a new Chrome DevTools because we have a new instance of the application running. Well, look at that. That is a lot better than it was before. We have this blue style text here, which I want. We have this nice but maybe slightly problematic button style, and that error at the bottom is hidden now, which is what I want. So let's take a look at this style. Let's open up the Inspect DevTools again, and let's inspect this element here. So now we see all the styles that I have, and here's part of the problem that I have now. We see there's this white text on a light gray background that is not very usable. There's not enough contrast there, and also it just doesn't look very good. Well, in the DevTools here, I can maybe find a new color and see how this is updating not only in the DevTools here on the left, but also in the browser, in the web view, in the Android emulator as well. I can tweak this a little bit here. I think that's a nice kind of reddish brown color. I can copy that, go to my CSS file, fix it up, run it one more time. Now the emulator should be loading up the final version of our application that has the correct CSS file being loaded, and the styles have been updated to match what I think is a good look. And there we have it. We have our blue title bar text, a button with nice contrast on it, and the error message that should only be visible when there's an error is hidden. The first tip I'd like to share about why debugging might not be working with the Chrome DevTools is that even if you do open Chrome and navigate to Chrome://inspect, sometimes it takes a moment or two for the web view entry to show up here. If that's still not showing up, wait a few more moments, or if you want to do what I do, just angrily click between some tabs. Eventually it should show up. The next tip I'd like to share that can affect your ability to use Chrome DevTools to inspect the contents of a web view in your Android application is that the web contents do not have debugging enabled. You have to make sure that somewhere in your application you call the static method android.webkit.webview.setWebContentsDebugging enabled and pass in enabled equals true. and that will ensure that debugging is enabled for your WebView. You can call this anywhere in your application because it's a static method, but you have to make sure that you call it, and that notifies Chrome that it has access to the WebView in the emulator. Thank you for joining me in the first episode of EJL Instructs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.